Right. So, and you're gonna be coughing all night, like.
I'll try and suppress my coughing as much as is humanly possible, and if not, I'll mute it out. So.
Okay. And are you feeling better?
I'm feeling 99%, almost back to normal.
Okay. Well, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong. This is a podcast where two exes who are still very good friends talk about lots of different topics, including politics, pop culture, music, travel, and so many other things in between and not in between. I'm Sean, and that's Josh. How are you, Josh?
I'm fine. That was like the newsreader voice when they're just reading something they don't care about at all. And in other news,
Well, I'm trying.
is that really like?
I was just trying to be a little bit more concise with it because
Professional?
normally we're just like, what do we do?
People don't come to an hour and 10-minute podcast series for concise.
They don't come.
Professional.
They don't come at all.
They don't come at all. No.
Sorry, that's a raising.
Speaking of professional, I just remembered to move my microphone into proximity.
How would that not cross your mind until now that you've got no microphone?
Well, because I'm so triggered now when you speak on this podcast. My paranoia around my water glass or water vessel, and the noises I may or may not make putting my cup back on the table is that was my thought process.
Water vessel.
Or drinking vessel.
Okay. That's quite hilarious.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little exhausted. I've been involved in a lot of events this week, and
you and me both.
It is just a little, I'm just tired. It is, we're recording this on a Saturday. It goes out on Tuesday, but we're recording this on a Saturday, and I just feel like it's the end of a very, very long week. You were working today, right?
I was working today. And just, when you said today's a Saturday, I had to look in the corner of my laptop screen. I was like, it is? Oh, yeah. I have no concept. I'm just gonna have a very short rant and then I'm gonna stop. So the job I've been doing the last few months, it's shifts and it's like a 4-day on, 2-day off pattern. So I never work on the same days each week, and the shifts will start from anywhere between 7:45 in the morning and finish at 8:30 at night. And I never work the same shifts. I never work the same days each week, and I've never felt so completely discombobulated in my whole life. I don't know what day is what. I don't know on any given day. I don't know what day of the week it is. If it's a weekend, weekday, I don't know my own name half the time. I've been so out of whack, more so than normal. But anyway, the silver lining in all of this is I'm about to start a new job where it will be set days each week, set hours. So I'm very, very excited to have a routine again.
How incredible is that word, discombobulated?
Discombobulated. I know, it's a good one, isn't it?
So confused and disconcerted.
I bet you Alanis has used that in a song somewhere.
Well, she should. So use it in a sentence. He is looking a little pained and discombobulated. Is that the story of your life?
Are they talking about me?
They were spying on you, Sue.
Yeah.
But how could that possibly be? What is the etymology of that word?
Because you never say, "Oh, I'm feeling very combobulated today."
Yeah. So
like there are a lot of words in English, aren't there, where you have I don't know if you call it the negative form or I don't know what else you would call it. That whatever form, but you never actually say, because when you say it's very disconcerting.
Yeah.
But you would never say, "Oh, I'm very pleased. It's very concerning." It's weird.
Yeah. Or like disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, you say appointed, but not in that.
No, I'm not
sense.
appointed.
Yeah. I appoint you. Yeah. Anyway. So I'm being very discombobulated. That's my excuse anyway.
And so when you're in this kind of mood where you feel discombobulated, you feel disconcerted, how do you keep yourself on track? Do you have any secrets to staying focused or concerted?
Well, no. I mean, I don't, and this is it. Like, I thrive on routine. I mean, you know me. We lived together for a long time, and you know that I am very, very set in my sort of routine. I thrive on routine, and it's the sort of same breakfast every morning. I'll do the same crossword puzzle, every morning. I'm
Like
very
the same moment, the same
the
answers,
same one, and I still don't. I still never finish it.
and like the one you can't get, the word you can't get is discombobulated.
Exactly. And I've just, without having had that in my life for the last 4 months, I've never felt so sort of disheveled. I don't know if you had that in Australia. There was a kid's book called What a Mess, and it was like this dog. And I don't know who did the story or the artwork, but this dog, and it was just like these two eyes and little nose. And it was just this like frantic, like mess of like fur. And he was called What a Mess. Anyway, that's been me the last few months. What a mess.
We didn't have What a Mess, but we had the muddle-headed wombat.
Ooh, that sounds very, very me.
So I can remember this book when I was a kid, or it was a series of books by Ruth Park, but The Muddle-Headed Wombat, or The Adventures of the Muddle-Headed Wombat. And I had a book called The Muddle-Headed Wombat on Cleanup Day. And this is not for people just listening, but you can see. Oh, hang on.
This is not for. That's the most double negative sentence ever, isn't it? This is
for people just watching. Can you see the muddle-headed wombat?
Can.
On cleanup day.
I feel a real affinity and kinship with the muddle-headed wombat.
So you get involved.
Do you want to have a look? Shall I show you a picture of What a Mess, or do you want to show
please.
us a picture of What a Mess? I'll get What a Mess up on my screen.
Yeah, I like the muddle-headed wombat. And I don't know, there's some sort of opossum walking along with them and some sort of stray-looking cat or something. Actually, I'm saying he. I don't know how the wombat identifies. I
was just thinking the same because I referred to What a Mess as he, and why can I not find a picture of What a Mess? I don't know if it was a he.
Does What a Mess go back to when you were a child?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's literally me. Can you see? And can you see how he's got a bird nesting in his hair?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's I've been told my hair looks like a bird's nest on more than one occasion.
Very nice. I think I like muddle-headed wombat style a bit better.
Yeah,
it's more appealing to me.
I don't know why it's made me think of this, but I've been watching a show. I don't think I've even ever discussed it with you, but I really love it. It's a comedy, and it's an Australian comedy, and it's called Fisk. Do you know it?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you should watch it. I've just finished watching the 3rd season, and it's Kitty Flanagan.
Yeah.
And did you see that? I just got a little like. Can you see that on your end?
Yeah, don't do that then.
So don't. What if I do that instead? Can I do that?
Oh, there's a whole series of things you can do.
I don't want that on the pod.
There's one that can. Well, it will be there. Like you can't. And there's fireworks. There's a few different things. I don't know how you. I don't know how you.
What if I do that?
I don't know how you turn it off. I think it's if you do
for those listening. I just accidentally did a thumbs up, and it gave a little like pop up. I mean, people probably know what I'm talking about, but
do double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up? Double fister?
Yeah.
Oh wow! What the fuck? Now my hair. That's a bird's nest.
What a mess.
We should stop. This is really shit content for people listening because they're like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
At least we're consistent.
Where was I talking? Fisk. Yeah. So it's Kitty Flanagan, and it was created by Kitty and her sister Penny. So Penny Flanagan was. I mean, she's still alive as far as I know. Is an Australian singer, and she had a lot of success when she was very young. I mean, probably still a teenager, right? With a band called Club Hoy. I mean, when I say a lot of success, I mean, they within Australian sort of like pop indie music.
Got to number 97.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say they were like touring the world or anything. But anyway, a lot of Australians would know them from
I saw them
Hoy.
live at the Pineapple Hotel in Brisbane.
And her sister Penny was one of the band members in Club Hoy, and her sister Kitty is a very sort of famous comedian. But anyway, Fisk is great. You should watch it. And also Julia, what's her name? Julia
Morris?
Samir, no,
Oh,
Zamiro. Is that her name?
Zamira? Yeah,
Zamira,
Zamira.
who hosts that music
Rock Whiz.
rock quiz. She's in it as well, and she's brilliant. It's a very good show. You should
Okay.
watch it. You should make Hill watch it. It should be part of his preparation for Australian.
Just
culture.
while I'm just going to go and grab something that I want to show you. Can you explain to
okay.
people what Rock Quiz is?
Rock quiz.
Just-
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Rock quiz. I don't know if it's still made or not, but it went for many, many years. It may still be being made, and it's an Australian live music quiz show hosted by Julia Zamiro, and she has every week 2 teams, and each team is captained by a famous musician, normally Australian, but not exclusively. And then they pick people from the audience to be on their team, and then they go head to head. But there's a live band. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a live band who will play snippets of songs that people have to guess. And then the 2 famous musicians who are on the opposing teams will do a duet at the end together. And
Did you have
it's a great
something
show.
similar in the UK to that? Or... I mean, there are
No.
shows. There are shows like was it Nevermind the Buzzcocks?
Nevermind the Buzzcocks. Yeah, but there was no
like
sort
music quiz shows.
But there was no sort of musical finale to that, was there? I don't think.
Are you ready for me to show you something?
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I took this from the garbage room in my building. So it was in a box, but I saw it and I couldn't leave it. Hill was threatening to leave and move back to Mexico if I brought it inside the house.
It's not vampire related, is it?
No.
Oh my God.
From Planet of the Apes. So
that is so disturbing.
Yeah, he says he doesn't want it in the house. It's scaring him.
That's cursed. I say it's cursed.
Yeah. And it came like it's got a little hole in the back. It's a bust of, is it Dr. Zaius? Is that the monkey's name from Planet of the Apes?
The character names, no.
And it's got there were a box set of DVDs meant to go in the back, but the DVDs are not there. Like they must have been taken out or lost. And
it's quite large.
Oh, it's massive. It's like the size of my head. And I love it so much. I think I want to put it in drag. Like turn it into like
you should just keep it by the front door for the next time the Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking.
So anyway, Hill really was quite upset that I brought it into the house.
Have you washed it?
No, it was in a box. Like it wasn't on the ground.
Okay.
Like, and it was in its box. Do you know what I mean? Like it was the Planet of the Apes box. And I didn't take the box.
Okay.
And I know it looks old and dirty, but that's the style of the character. It's like it looks brand new.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
what are you going to do with it? Why do you have it?
I don't know. I just thought I should have it. Like I thought that, I don't know. Like I'm showing. Like maybe my sister Michelle, when she sees this, she might want it. Michelle, if you want it, leave a comment. I'm going to bring it to Australia.
Michelle may very well want that.
I might bring it to Australia, but it's
after all your noting about, I'm not bringing anything back to Australia with me. I'm getting rid of it, and then now you've got your Dracula.
There's Dracula.
There's Dracula in the background, and then now what's his name? Dr.
Well,
Zaius?
I don't know if his name is Dr. Zaius, but how good is that? But Hill is very upset, and he thinks it's scary.
I'm with Hill. Team Hill.
So talking about Kirstie Alley, have you seen the new Lady Gaga music video?
I've not.
Okay, so she's got a song called The Dead Dance.
Yes.
And it's featured in one of the new episodes of the Netflix TV show Wednesday.
Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sunday. And the video was filmed in Xochimilco.
Oh, really? Okay, now I want to watch it.
And it is directed by Tim Burton. Like the
Xochimilco, you should explain what that is to people.
So first of all, Tim Burton directs Netflix show Wednesday as well, and so Gaga has a cameo in one of the episodes of the new series. So Xochimilco is a series of canals and waterways that was traditionally agricultural land in the south of Mexico City, on the edges of the city, I suppose the border of the city. I mean, it's kind of right at the bottom of the city, and there's a series of bits of land that were used for agriculture that date back to Mesoamerican times. And are they called chinampas? The little islands that they build are called chinampas. So they're sort of almost floating, but they're raised on like reeds and sticks. So they can have a lot of water go to them all the time. So they've got the optimum amount of water for growing crops. And so they were used all over the lake of, what was the lake called in Mexico before?
Texcoco.
Texcoco. And so they were used all over. And these are like in Xochimilco in the south of the city. These are the remnants of those canals and these chinampas. And you can travel around them on boats called trajineras.
Trajineras.
Yeah, so you can travel around as tourists. Hill was telling me that one of the most amazing things you can do in Mexico from a tourist point of view is they do these canal canoeing excursions where you go at 4 a.m. So you're on the Xochimilco lakes or canals at sunrise, and there's all mist on the water. It's really beautiful. So one of the chinampas, or one of these little agricultural islands, is called La Isla de las Muñecas.
Yeah.
Or the Island of the Dolls. And there are all these old, spooky-looking dolls and toys strung up in all the trees on the island. We saw it when we went. We didn't go onto the island, but we went past it.
Went past it with Sue.
And that's where Gaga filmed the music video
So
with
she
Tim
must have done
Burton.
it when she was just touring in Mexico a couple of months ago. Then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it happened then or not. But so anyway, the island is fascinating. The you know how Mexico loves an urban legend and an urban folk legend. So Don Julian, who originally lived on the island, the legend has it that he saw a young girl drown in the canal next to the island. And he either saw her drowning and didn't help her, or he couldn't get to her. There's mixed versions of the story. And then the next day he went back to the spot and there was a doll floating in the water where she died. And so he took it and he tied it up to like a tree, sort of like a talisman sort of thing to ward off her ghost. But then her ghost haunted the island. And so as an offering, he would collect dolls and string them up all around the island. And then, of course, people started to come, locals started to come and get involved and leave offerings and change the clothes on the dolls. And he died.
It's completely covered, isn't it? All the trees are just completely strung with dolls and stuff. It's very cool. So that's why they filmed the Gaga video.
Yeah, and so the guy who owned the island or lived on the island, he died in 2001. And the legend is his nephew came to live with him. And his uncle was saying, "Oh, I can hear the mermaids who live under the water calling me." And the nephew didn't think anything about it. And he came back and his uncle was found face down in the water in the exact same spot where the girl had drowned decades and decades before. So that's the urban legend. It's very entertaining. And there's a movie that was partially filmed on the island back in 1943 called Maria Candelaria. It starred Dolores Del Rio, and who was one of the most famous Mexican movie stars of all time. But the movie that was filmed there was the first ever Mexican film to be shown at the Cannes Film Festival. So it's from 1943, and it's considered one of the all-time classics films of...
What was it called?
Maria Candelaria.
Candelaria.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Hill was telling me before, what does Xochimilco
means
mean?
place of many flowers, doesn't it?
Right.
Xochi means flower in Nahuatl.
And down there are lots of flower markets and flowers are grown. So anyway, that's very exciting. So I think the Gaga song is amazing. You think it's not that great.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as the new album. When I listened to it first time, it reminded me very much of the Chromatica album. That sort of high energy dance, not a lot of substance. Like it's and I love Gaga, but it's
Well,
um
yeah, well,
it just it doesn't have the range.
I have a different feeling about it. I think it's great. The
Okay.
video is very entertaining. It's very camp. It's very Tim Burton, like haunted dolls and Gaga dancing like like a monster.
Hmm.
And
It's
but
very
that
on brand for her, isn't it?
but that album has now been expanded. So if you go to Spotify, you'll see it's got that song on it, and it's got 2 new tracks
Okay.
apart from that. And but anyway, that song was she wrote that with and produced it with 2 people, and one of them is Andrew Watt, and one of them is Henry Walter, who's known as Circuit. But
Mm.
Andrew Watt has, they both worked with all over the Mayhem tracks. They're all involved in that. But Andrew Watt has worked a lot with, that album Elton John and Brandy
Brandy
Carlisle did
Carlisle.
together.
Yeah. Hmm.
He worked, I think, on all of those songs.
Oh, really? That's
So I find
interesting.
that really fascinating that someone would go from we've got like another Anne Dudley situation where someone can work on those sorts of songs, like that
Mm.
sort of genre with, well, I mean, what would you call the genre with Elton John and Brandy
Like
Carlisle? What?
AOR.
Yeah, and then something like these mayhem tracks, and they're all spooky and a bit gothy pop sounding. I
Mm.
find that really interesting. But
Mm.
Henry Walter, who he goes by his production name of Circuit, and he's also on all of the Mayhem tracks or most of them. But he co-wrote and co-produced or produced "Heart to Break" by Kim Petras,
Oh, I love that song.
and he also did "Apata" with Rose
I
and
also like. Hmm.
Bruno,
Hmm.
but he also worked on a bunch of songs from the Marina album "Electra Heart."
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I find
Which
these
I
people
also love.
really, yeah, I find these people really fascinating that
Yeah.
they jump around like this,
Yeah.
and I think it speaks to I mean, obviously Gaga is a really talented songwriter in her own
Mm.
right,
Mm.
but being able to dip into other people's styles and work with them and collaborate
Yeah.
and
When
bring
you
out
get
things like
that much talent
Abracadabra.
in the room, it's pretty. It can be pretty incredible.
I did you notice I've got fears for Tiny April this week that one of Gaga's shows was postponed.
Why? What for? What
Her
reason?
voice. I mean,
She needs.
if you see
Mm.
these videos of her performing, she is just belting out these songs. And there's
Yeah.
this one video in Miami where her voice didn't crack, but she really sounded like she oversang. Like she
Yeah.
was just belting out because she just sings like there's no tomorrow.
Hmm.
And so then there was the second Miami show, and at 8 p.m., they said she's not going on.
God, no, don't. I wish I didn't even know that.
No,
Wish
no.
you
So
hadn't told me.
I'm quite stressed by that, but I've been really fascinated and getting hyper focused on the Mayhem album
Hmm.
because even though it's been out a while now, and because I've been watching the Wednesday show, I have a feeling that the whole Mayhem era is like a companion piece to Wednesday. Because did you watch the first season of Wednesday?
No.
You should go and watch it.
I watched the first episode and I didn't want to watch anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not for you then. But
Mm.
in the show, like all the themes of Mayhem, like she's singing that song "Zombie Boy,"
Yeah.
and she's singing about werewolves. That's all through Wednesday in this second season. There's a zombie that comes back to life, and then there's like some of the werewolves are some of the main storylines. And I'm like, I think this has been a few years in the planning that all of this has tied in together and is somehow a concept album. It's like
From an
it's like
artistic point of view or from a marketing point of view?
both. I think both. And it's like when Tim Burton asked her for music for one of the scenes, she said, "Oh, I've got this song that was going to go on my album. Do you
Right.
want me to
Okay.
hold it back?" And he said, "Yeah." And she changed it a bit to match the scene a bit more. But it's like it strikes me as it's like a bit of a concept album, like American Idiot or something.
Right.
But it's
Okay.
all like spooky Halloween vibes.
Mm.
A lot of people online are joking that she's going to be like the Mariah Carey of Halloween. You know, like every year Mariah trundles out that All I Want
All
for
I Want. Well,
Christmas.
Mariah played at Brighton Pride. Was it last month? Yeah, last month.
Yeah.
And I know someone that went, and they said like people were like yelling, and this is the middle of August. People were like yelling out, "All I want for Christmas, sing All I Want for Christmas," and she didn't,
But isn't that wild to think, like, for us being older, she's much more famous for other things. Like, you know a
Yeah,
lot of
she
her
is, but
music, right?
yeah, I do. But I mean,
What
that
name
song is
3 Mariah songs that aren't All I Want for Christmas?
"Without You." Is that what it's called? I Can't Live, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, God, I don't know. Now. Hang on. I can hear them in my head, but I can't think what the lyrics are because she does a lot of like non-lyric singing. Like, what's that?
I love that you can yeah,
Emotions. Is that what
Emotion,
it's called? Yeah.
but not with an
Um,
S, singular, Emotion.
Emotion. Oh yeah, Emotion. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's so many. I'm too
Heartbreaker,
discombobulated.
Heart
Heartbreaker. Yeah,
Heartbreaker,
Heartbreaker.
Vision of Love.
Butterfly.
Well, that was the name
Was
of the
that?
album.
Was that the album?
Yeah,
The Emancipation of Mimi. That was the album as well, wasn't it?
maybe, yeah. But,
What was the one she did with Westlife?
oh, it was a cover.
Yeah,
It was something like
which
Endless Love or something, or
was it?
it was
Yeah,
a cover. It was like an old
yeah.
R&B pop cover. But, yeah, it's so funny that, she's been famous for like 35 years or whatever,
Mm.
and that there would have been kids at that Pride event, and the only song they know is All I Want for
All I Want
Christmas.
for Christmas. Yeah.
So
Well,
anyway,
well,
I'm really into the
I might,
Mayhem album
I
again.
might give Wednesday a second chance,
But yeah,
possibly.
you'd have to watch
But
the
the first season, yeah.
the first season. But it's camp, and there are so many good cameos and stuff. Like in this second season,
When I when
one
when
the what's that?
no, go on.
One of the lead cameo sort of co-starring people in the second season is Billy Piper.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another reason to want to
Yeah.
watch it then. When I start my new job and I've got my routine, I can schedule in some more TV viewing. But that's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes.
Wednesday. I did watch on Netflix the Biggest Loser documentary.
Yeah, so did I. The
What's
three
it
part.
called?
It is called Fit for TV.
Fit for TV. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good play on words. And I did have some thoughts about it. You've watched it, right? Haven't you?
Yeah, I watched all 3 episodes. Once again, it's like that. Remember we watched that, I think you watched it, or I described it to you, that poop cruise
Oh, I
one.
haven't watched that yet.
Okay.
No.
A lot of these modern documentary series things, they feel quite rushed to me. They
Mhm.
don't feel as hard hitting as they might possibly be or could be if somebody put a bit
I
more
mean,
effort into it.
but they're not trying to be a serious, academic level documentary. They are fluff pieces
Yeah.
tackling sometimes serious issues.
Well, first of all,
So,
I thought it was very interesting that Aubrey Gordon was one of the talking heads on it. And we mentioned this a lot, but the podcast maintenance phase, Aubrey is one of the hosts of that podcast. So it was surprising. I didn't know she was going to be in it when I first started watching it, and then she popped up. And because I'd never seen her, I didn't know what she looked like, but her voice is very recognizable. So straight away, I was like, "My God, that's Aubrey!" And then her name came up on the screen. So, I mean, thoughts about it?
Well, so The Biggest Loser, because it made me think a lot about when because you and I used to watch The Biggest Loser a lot, and it was when we were living in Australia, so we would watch the American one, but then they had an Australian version as well.
Yeah.
And we loved it. I mean, it's embarrassing now to say that, but we did love it. It was, and I suppose it still is very compelling TV. Like it's got a very human quality to it, especially to anyone who is or has at any point in their life been fat. It is very well made, I think. It's a great
well made might be an
in
interesting
terms of like
being
I mean,
addictive.
obviously, it's as being good TV, watchable TV. It's horrifically problematic and like behind the scenes stuff is just disgusting.
And
But
so I think most people would understand what The Biggest Loser is, but just to give you a
yeah,
quick recap, The Biggest Loser was a competition reality TV show. Doesn't exist anymore. I don't think it exists in any country because it
no,
eventually spread out all around the world, but I think they've stopped it everywhere. And they would take obese people who identified as wanting to lose weight, and they would take them into a training camp, like a boot camp style thing on reality TV, and they would make them exercise in extremely, extremely tough boot camp style scenarios that were often dangerous physically and emotionally, mentally, and make them lose weight rapidly.
yeah.
And it was very dramatic. It was very emotional. It played a lot on people's weaknesses or their what not weaknesses,
Well,
but like
their
yeah,
trauma,
their
their
trauma.
insecurities. You know, the
And they would have trainers, and they would split the contestants into teams, and they would get to stay on the show if they lost a lot of weight, hence the term The Biggest Loser. And then the person who lost the most amount of weight at the end would win like $200,000 or some sum of money that.
yeah, yeah.
And the problem with the show, well, one of the many problems with the show is that it was criticized for not looking after the welfare of the contestants during or after the production.
Hmm.
And so some of the problems were related to they had this intense 24 hours a day being on the compound or the ranch or wherever they were, losing weight and exercising up to 8 hours a day. And then when they were sent back
Oh,
into
more
the
than 8 hours. Yeah,
well,
like
some of them would do more on their
yeah.
off their own back, and then when they were sent home, they didn't have any support, and that was no emotional or like therapeutic
They didn't even
mental
have
health
like
support.
yeah, they didn't even have, and I mean, I know this is a very sort of seemingly flippant thing to say, but they didn't even have like gym memberships or
No,
anything like that.
nothing.
And that's one of the contestants said, like, surely they could have at least production company could at least have shelled out for like gym memberships. But
Yeah.
it was really, it was just, I mean, I've ranted and raved before on this podcast about how problematic I think reality television is. And this just cemented my beliefs even deeper. It was so exploitative and so misguided, so nefarious. You know, it was just really, really horrific hearing some of the
Yeah.
people's stories.
The Biggest Loser, one of the biggest problems with The Biggest Loser is that it was shaming as entertainment.
Yeah.
So it was about humiliating people, shaming them, making them live out their trauma on
Hmm.
TV for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah, but
And
only in a way that presented a nice narrative arc for that episode. They would never look deeper at more intense forms of trauma, of eating disorders, of compulsive eating, anything like that. It was all so um, not performative. What's the word I'm looking for? It was all just so
well, it was
um,
surface.
surface level and not scripted exactly, but like most reality TV, it was very heavily directed and edited.
But one of these approaches that it would have is to look at being overweight as a failure or a moral
Yes.
weakness, and that it was completely the fault of the person who was overweight, fat, or obese,
Yeah.
and that there was only one way to fix that, and that was to exercise and lose weight rapidly.
And to be screamed at
Hmm.
until you were throwing up or passing out or going to hospital in an
Yeah.
ambulance, it
So
was
for my own experience of weight loss, and this is over, I've lost weight, put weight back on again over the years. But on the current journey that I'm on, and I've been using Manjaro, it has been a multifaceted approach to my
mhm,
wellness. It's not about just losing the weight by any means necessary. It
mhm.
has been about looking after my mental health. It's been about taking control of my financial well being. It's about taking, l- you know, it's it's about a holistic
It's a
approach.
whole yeah,
Yeah, holistic
exactly.
approach to well-being. Whereas The Biggest Loser is about shame and fear, and it is a one attack, and it's
Yeah.
you've got to
And it
lose weight.
and it's framing, like you said, it's framing fatness is wrong. Fatness is wrong. Fatness is laziness. Fatness is uh, letting yourself down, letting your family down.
Yeah.
It's framed as such a negative, disgusting thing, and it's hard to see it. It's hard not to see it through today's lens. But when they reminded me on that documentary about some of the challenges that they would have,
Oh, yeah.
so they would,
Wild.
make these people, eat really calorie restricted diets of less than 1,000 calories a day. They would exercise them for hours and hours, like more intense exercise regimens than like, military training or something like that. Then they would like present them with, a mountain of like jam donuts or, like really
Well,
high carb, high fat, high sugar snacks. And they would tempt them to sort of break their diet, regime.
the wildest thing that they showed, and I completely forgot about this,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
when they had challenges where they had to transport junk food from one table to another table, but they weren't allowed to use their hands, they were only allowed to use their mouths.
Hmm.
So they had to pick up donuts and pizza in their mouths
Hmm.
and move it to another table.
Yeah,
It is so wild that that would happen,
yeah.
that was on TV. The trainers, originally, the trainers were Bob, um, what's his name? Harper?
I can't. Harper, yeah.
Bob
That's the name.
Harper and Gillian Michaels.
Hmm.
And I remember watching that show and kind of liking them, thinking that they were on the side of the people and that they
Yeah,
cared and they were
yeah,
caring people. Watching that documentary back, I was just like, these people are unhinged.
yeah,
Like
yeah. They're
they,
psychotic.
yeah, like they're sociopaths. That
Mhm.
and I mean,
But,
Bob.
again, it's all just about good TV. They were playing a game, Bob and Jillian. They knew exactly what made for good TV, and they played to that, they played that role very well.
Well, do you
And
remember when the?
I would have
Sorry,
those moments of tenderness, they would have those moments of tenderness, um, saying, "I'm just here to help you," and then like 5 seconds later, be screaming like, "Don't you dare!" Don't, like just screaming like you want to be a failure. Like it was so abusive, their behavior. More Gillian than Bob. Bob was always like the kind of the nice one, and Gillian was like the tough one.
but he was only
Um,
nice in comparison to her. Like when you
yeah,
look at his
yeah,
behavior as a standalone, it was horrible.
yeah,
But next to Gillian, yeah, he seemed like the nice one and the reasonable one.
yeah,
But there's that bit where, yeah, like she was caught out giving caffeine pills to
yeah.
her team
And it's
contestants.
so it brought up a lot of emotions to me because yeah, we loved it. We bought into the whole Biggest Loser shtick when it was current, which was what, the noughties, and it really is just such a good sort of concise microcosm, I suppose, or summary of how easy it is to internalize fat phobia when you're fat yourself.
Yes.
And it's the same. It's the same with anything, any uh, physical um, quality that upon which you can be discriminated against. Right? It's very easy to take on that discrimination and take on that. Whether it's fat phobia or racism or sexism,
Yeah.
um, and just sort of start believing it. It's
Yeah.
and we loved watching it, and y- in some ways you could say it was good because we started exercising maniacally. Like we we were getting up when we were watching The Biggest Loser. We were getting up at like 5 a.m. and going for like a run and stuff. Like it did
Yeah, but to me,
force
it
us.
wasn't a healthy
Well,
approach
no. I mean, obviously,
because
long term, nothing changed. It
because
was.
what that show did was it erased the complex
Hmm.
reasons
Hmm.
why people have obese,
Yep.
and it sort of erased it and it drilled it down to be one thing. It's like
Yeah.
you're not
Packaged it up into
exercising
this.
enough.
Yeah.
you're eating too much and you're not exercising enough, when really it's much more complex than that. We know that,
Yeah.
you know, it's it's about mental health, it's about
Hmm.
food access, it's
Hmm.
about poverty, it's about so many different things why
Hmm.
somebody might be obese. And to bring it down to it's because you're not moving enough and
Hmm.
it's your fault, it's so problematic.
Well, yeah, and it's so oversimplistic, isn't it? I mean,
Mhm.
it's and several of the contestants said this more or less, that it didn't solve anything in the long term for them. It was a short term weight loss because they didn't have to go to work. They were on this, the Biggest Loser ranch, and they exercised 8+ hours a day. They had calorie restricted meals given to them. And
Mhm.
of course, they're going to lose weight. But that doesn't, like you say, it doesn't actually address any of the underlying. And I don't want to stigmatize fatness as well, because I've got to be really careful with my language, because fatness isn't a bad thing. But if you were saying that you wanted to lose weight, that
Yeah.
show didn't address any of the underlying reasons why you may be overweight in the
No,
first place.
that's
It
right.
just presented a very short term, unrealistic, unattainable solution.
And in some ways, it seemed to make any of those underlying reasons more pronounced. And,
Hmm.
it was about shaming you, which
Yeah,
leads a lot
yeah,
of people to
yeah.
having
I mean,
disordered relationships with
I
food.
mean, the name of the show is just,
Yeah.
to talk about the obvious, but yeah, like it is, yeah,
Could there be a reality wellness show
no,
that was more compassionate
no.
and but
Reality TV,
what would it
there is no such thing as responsible, ethical reality TV. It's a complete contradiction in terms. Reality TV is, by its very essence, exploitative and problematic. And
Okay, so if somebody wanted to make a show that was more compassionate
mhm,
and they were going to do it because they need to make money or they got offered money to do it, what
mhm.
would they do differently to The Biggest Loser? Like,
they would
what
get they
elements
would
could it have?
get people in the fat community together and talk about fatness, talk about food, and then go away and decide, well, you know what, it's my fucking body and I'll do what the fuck I want with it. And that's it. And that doesn't make a TV show. So that's why I'm
But what
saying, like,
if
to be a TV show, it has to be problematic and exploitative.
I'm asking you, like, if there was a show going to be made, like somebody said to you, this show is 100% going to happen,
Mhm.
what would what could their approach be that was at the kindest version of that type of show or the most progressive version of that type of show? The show's going to be made. They're not going to
I
not make it.
I think you're talking about something that's impossible to do, because it would just be about one individual. It'd have to be about one individual, and that in one individual would have to decide over their entire lifetime what's right for them, what they want to be, what they want to do with themselves, their body, and that doesn't make TV. So
But see, I think if a show like this existed, the focus or the goal should be wellness, not weight loss.
right,
I don't think it should be a weight loss show. I think it should be a wellness show.
but
And
then
so,
that's wellness is such an impossible metric to measure,
yeah, but I
and
think that
so
it could focus on the individuals on the show. So, um, and it could focus on different elements or needs of those individual people. And
but
so,
what would be the purpose of the show, trying to package up something as complex as human existence and present it to other people as a solution to their lives? I
or
mean,
it
it's
could just be a fly on the wall, thing, and it could show about it could be a demonstration of how wellness as a holistic approach to looking after people, and it takes
mm,
more than just blaming people and shaming people. So there could be therapy sessions in the show. There
mm,
could be showing about building social capital and community, the importance of community and company in wellness. There could be, there could be exercise. There could be nutrition.
mm,
There could be an approach to it But yes, it wouldn't be as hard hitting and dramatic and cliffhanger ish as The Biggest Loser. But
Yeah.
so I don't think it could be done in a competition style. That
Mm.
alone would need to go. The fact that somebody wins and somebody loses, that would have to
Yeah.
go.
I just, I'll stop going on about it, but reality TV is so inherently problematic to me, and I refuse to engage with it,
So take
any form of it. But like I just wanted to read. So Aubrey Gordon, I wrote down something she said when I was watching it, and
yeah,
she highlighted a really interesting angle about The Biggest Loser, which I hadn't really considered until she said this. And she said, it's a very human desire to want to be seen. It's a very human desire to want to be around people who understand you.
yeah,
This was one of the only vehicles at the time for fat people to have a space to connect.
yes,
And that made me really think, because it was before the sort of proliferation of social media, of blogs. I mean, they were around, but it wasn't something that it wasn't a form of media that, or communication or connection that people accessed as much as they do today.
yeah,
And so, yeah, there have been so few positive representations of fatness in mainstream uh, culture, and still today, there are so few positive representations of fatness. And so, even though it was a problematic, flawed representation of fatness, it was at the time somewhat empowering. I mean, obviously, through today's lens, I look back and I say it wasn't empowering at all. It was really
yeah.
fucked. But it felt at the time that it was empowering, because, like what Aubrey says, it was at the time one of the only vehicles for fat people to connect and feel a sense of community, to feel a sense of
Yeah.
support and
We
understanding.
we've talked a lot here before, especially when we were talking about Jurassic Park, about
Mm.
how usually, when a fat character is in a movie,
Oh,
it's very rare that it is just, oh, they just happen to be fat.
oh,
There is
I would say
often
99.9% of the time, they're
yeah,
not. They're not just fat. They're fat
like
and they die. They're fat and they're greedy. They're fat and they're stupid. They're fat and they eat all the cake. Or like, it's
yeah,
just,
like who's the guy who played Newman on
yeah,
Wayne
on,
Knight when
mm,
he gets chomped by a dinosaur in Jurassic
yeah,
Park.
because he's greedy.
Yeah, and that show was an extension of that because it traded on that idea, that collective understanding that fat people are either stupid or greedy or lazy.
Mhm.
And that traded on that to turn it into entertainment, and it used their ridicule and shaming
Yeah.
to make
Well,
it
that's it. Like
entertaining.
any show, no matter what the subject, but any show that tries to condense and simplify human existence into one thing is is absurd and ridiculous.
Can you think of any, not even positive um, characterizations of fat people, but where it was just like an aside that they were overweight or fat or obese? Can you think of any
No,
character?
no, I can't. I
Like,
can't.
I'm even thinking of shows that are like hyper progressive, like Sex Education. Were there any fat characters in Sex Education? Am I like, is my brain even so internalized fat phobia that I'm invisibilizing people? Like, I can't remember any overweight characters.
Certainly none of the leads. I mean,
No.
no.
Yeah, like shows like Sabrina or Wednesday or Sex Education that are meant to appeal to like new progressive youth
And
market.
funny you mentioned Sabrina, because I'd completely forgotten that Caroline
Ray,
Caroline Ray was the host of the first, I don't know, two
couple of
seasons
3 seasons, I
of The
think.
Biggest
Yeah.
Loser. I'd completely forgotten about that. But no, I don't think you do. You still don't see, even in, the supposedly progressive age, you still don't see positive or neutral representations of fatness in mainstream media. It's still so, and considering how much of the population is overweight or obese, it's so problematic. It's still so stigmatized.
And I
Um,
watch I watch soap operas, and I often watch them on YouTube. So I'm obsessed with the gay storyline on Emmerdale at the moment.
Oh, I just thought of
Oh, who?
an example. It's that Meg Stalter show. What's it
Oh, yeah.
called? What's it called? Too Much? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that, she's a proud fat woman who does not try and cover her body up, and
Yeah.
she's just fat in the show, and she is a beautiful, sexy. I mean, not a word I would use, but she's
Well, she's
the character.
sexualized.
She's sexualized, and she's attractive. Sorry, people are attracted to her. But there's there's just no storyline around her being fat.
Yeah, like
Um,
she's not in a
at
struggle with her weight.
No,
She's not being
that's
told by somebody lose weight or I'll leave you.
and
She's
that is
not.
one of the few examples I can think of all the millions of hours of my life that I've lost to watching things on a screen. That's one of the few examples I can think of.
Yeah, because I was just going to say I've been watching Emmerdale, and it's a UK soap opera because there's this highly camp storyline where this man is married to another man, but he used to be married to this man's brother. So he's been married to two different brothers, and he just recently slept with the original brother behind the new brother's back, and it is so camp and wild. And now this other brother is a serial killer, and he's trying to kill them all, and he's drugging his husband. It is so camp. But that aside, um, the characters on that show, yeah, most of the main characters are of average weight, but the people on that show, even that stupid soap opera, the ones who are either chubby or fat or obese are usually the goofballs, or they're a little bit more. What's like the term? Like a little bit more like dopey, or
Yeah,
like
sluggish or yeah,
yeah, like they've often
lazy,
framed. Yeah, but not even lazy, but like a little bit like less together. Like they're not as
discombobulated
yeah, like
soon.
maybe not as socially aware, or they're getting themselves into a few more pickles based on
Hmm.
things being confusing, or you know
Yeah.
and yeah, it's even that. I mean, I know that that's a soap opera and they trade on very specific characterizations of
Oh,
people,
you could.
but
Yeah.
I did hear a word on Emmerdale that I'd never heard before, and I had to look it up. This character who was married to two brothers said
Hmm.
to his sister, "Stop mithering me."
Mithering me. Yeah.
Have you heard
Yeah.
mither?
Yeah,
Mithering?
I have. It's very. Yeah. It's not a very common word, but yeah.
Is it like a northern expression?
Yeah. Is it northern or is it more like? Um. Yeah, I suppose it is northern. Yeah. Mither. Yeah.
So, I mean, it means stop sort of fussing over me, or.
Mm,
But I wrote it down because I was like, I needed to ask you. I'd never heard that word in my life. So
yeah.
if anything good that's come out of me being obsessed with Emmerdale and the gay storylines, it's that I've learnt the word
Mither.
mithering.
Stop
But
mithering me.
it's so funny, this show, that they how quickly they film these soap operas. Like they just
Hmm.
don't let them do retakes. They have to do them all in one
Yeah.
take. They're on like 5 days a
Yeah.
week. They've got to film, film, film. This character who I'm obsessed with, who is married to the two brothers, there was a scene the other day where he was sitting there and he was meant to like look across the room, and he looked straight as he got to the middle. He looked straight down the camera, like literally straight down the camera, and they've just left it in the show. And he like
Yeah.
quickly looked away, and I just love how cheap and tacky these shows are. It's so entertaining to me.
I love it. I love it. But I will. I know I promised before, but you know what I was saying about Aubrey Gordon. She was talking about that The Biggest Loser being one of the only opportunities to sort of come together as a community if you were fat at the time.
Yeah,
But she was saying that in the sense that it was exploitative, like
yeah,
it just naturally preyed on that. And it reminds me, I know I've spoken about it on the podcast before, but it reminds me about a singer I like, Lucy Spraggan.
Uh-huh.
And how she talks about, because she made she got her break, whatever. She didn't actually. She had a really good. She was on a good trajectory before she did Pop Idol, whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? Idol? Was it just called
What,
Idol
in the US?
in the UK?
It was, well,
UK Idol? I
there
don't
was
know.
one called Pop Idol
Maybe it was
in the
Pop
UK,
Idol.
the one that Will Young was on.
But she was on that, and she became very famous through that. But she had a very traumatic experience during the making of that TV show, and the production company and the TV channel station were treated her appallingly, like
Yeah.
really horrifically. And but still, she talks about reality TV as one of the only ways that working class people can get into mainstream media.
Hmm.
And again, it's just, yeah, like that's true, but it's not. That doesn't make reality TV good. Like it's fucking awful and horrendous.
So maybe
It's so
maybe there needs
exploitative.
to be a way to change that if these things are going to exist, a way to make them more representative or fairer, or like
Yeah, but that doesn't. The
people
problem
should be
is,
allowed to unionize.
the problem is that that doesn't make for good TV. So I don't think that would ever happen. I
No,
don't
or at
think.
least pay people fairly. So if you're going to put them through these grueling things like Love Island or The Biggest Loser, make it
Yeah,
unionized, make them get paid more, give them royalties on
but
the shows.
that's like, oh, I want to open a pound shop, but pay everyone involved a living wage. Well, that doesn't work. You can't have a pound shop that doesn't involve, substandard wages or working conditions. Like most of the stuff you buy in a pound shop is probably made by children or exploited people in other
Yeah,
countries
but
who are working in awful conditions.
the
So
Biggest Loser, they were making more money than the pound shop. It was like they were making
yeah, but
billions of dollars.
if they paid everyone fairly, if they invested the money and
Yeah.
time needed to properly address or give um, to properly address or deal with, in inverted commas, people's issues,
Hmm.
that wouldn't make money. They would they'd be in the red. They would lose
Oh,
money
maybe they
making that
wouldn't
show,
lose.
and that's why that would never
Maybe
exist.
that's a bit of a dramatic take. Maybe they would still make money. They would just make less money. Maybe that they could have invested some of the billions that they made from The Biggest Loser into giving membership and training support to gyms and nutritionists and personal trainers and personal care coaches.
Yeah,
Make sure that there were support groups for ex contestants, because there were hundreds of them.
but but
They
yeah,
could have done
okay.
that and still
But they
made
could have, but they
billions.
would have had to have drawn it out for a year, because you can't, people aren't going to lose
No, but
rapid
I don't mean
weight.
on the show. I mean after the show.
Mm,
Like, these
maybe,
things could have been paid for
maybe.
by
Yes,
by
like
producers.
of course, there's room for production companies and for TV channels to do better. And Lucy Spraggan uh, released a book last year. I think I talked about it on here before. She released a book which details her experience and her journey with reality TV and the traumatic experience that she went through with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like TV stations and production companies will now do better, but the very medium itself is exploitative. So I think it's like trying to make abattoirs more ethical. And it's like, I think the you just need to shut the abattoir down.
Yeah.
I know that's how I feel about reality TV.
Okay. So what are people going to watch for entertainment?
Wednesday,
But with more fat people on it.
yeah, season 2 of Too Much, when that comes out, if it comes out. Um, yeah, we need more. We need to normalize fatness. Like we need to not have people's fatness be a ridiculous trope. We can. Why not talk about fatness? I mean, I never watched the film The Whale with Brendan Fraser because I just from what I heard about it and read about it would, I think it would be too upsetting. But we need to, like maybe just normalize. I mean, I suppose in a way that's what you and I are doing to our, 20 viewers. We're just normalizing a conversation, an ongoing conversation about weight, about bodies, about fatness,
Yeah.
about weight loss, if that's, even the term you want to use, wellness, if that's the term you want to
Yeah.
use. And these conversations, just, I don't know.
Did you want to say something before we go about the drama going on in UK politics with Angela Rayner?
I could do, but I thought you were going to ask me if I wanted to say something about how our queer open mic third anniversary party
No,
went, but no.
no.
Okay, fine. So yeah, okay, sure. So Angela Rayner was, until a couple of days ago, was the deputy leader of the Labour Party, who is the party in power, and um, because of that, she was deputy prime minister as well. Although I don't know, actually, I don't know if the party deputy leader is always the deputy prime minister
I
or
don't
not,
know what it
but
is, but she was
she
the
was
deputy.
both.
Yeah.
She is a northern working class woman, and she is a very good sort of effective politician. And I don't know the details that well, but she purchased a property, and in the UK, because I think it wasn't her second property, she had to pay a certain amount of tax. I think it was about £40,000, and she didn't pay it. She, and I believe her when she says she didn't think she had to pay it. She said that she had been advised she didn't need to. The firm that she said had advised her of that quickly came out and said, we never advised her that, and we never would advise her that, because that's not our role. She should have gotten independent financial advice.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever the truth is, we may never know. But I genuinely believe, I think she's she's a left leaning politician, but
Yeah.
she had to resign. She had to resign from her position because of the public outcry. And I think it's a shame because, yes, of course, we should all pay our taxes, but I genuinely don't think that she was evading tax. I think she was just mistaken in what her tax, what you call it, liability was.
And it's so wild the amount of garbage that other politicians get away with.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you look at Michelle Mone, who's a peer in the House of Lords, who is so fucking corrupt and is so clearly fiddling the system. And this is it. Like, being a working class woman, she doesn't come from generational wealth.
Yeah.
And so many people who come from generational wealth, and I suppose I have to include myself in that, not, I'm not fucking loaded or anything, but they, when you've grown up with wealth in the family like that,
Yeah.
you're conscious of the ways you can manage that to not have to pay as much tax. I mean, I always pay my tax, and I always have declared my income, my self-employment income, because I think paying your tax is the right thing to do. But, and I would never, engage in sort of illegal tax dodging or anything like that. But, you know, you're, when you've grown up, and especially grew up with very wealthy friends, much more wealthy than me, a lot of them. And so when you've grown up in that sort of culture, you are much more aware of tax liabilities, ways, loopholes, and stuff like that. She probably wasn't. I mean, I don't know her. I've never met her, but I would imagine, being a working class woman, she may not have been so aware of that. And so
Yeah.
it's like she's being held up as an example by all these people who are such hypocrites, who have come from generational wealth and who avoid paying tax because all of their family wealth is tied up in some trust or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's all so hypocritical.
I would say that, yes, I do admire and respect and appreciate some of her political stances. I do think that she has been targeted unfairly for this particular subject. especially in such a hypocritical manner. But I
Mm.
would also like to say that I don't think she's done enough to stand up for Gaza and
No,
Palestine.
no. I
I don't
mean,
think she's done enough to stand up for trans people. And
no.
I think that being part of a two-party system, and being part of one of the mainstream parties, she might very well believe in more than she's able or willing to do within that system.
Yeah,
So I don't see her loss as a great loss to democracy as a whole, because she was unwilling to go as far as she needed to go to stand up. She would not call, I don't think she would call the genocide a genocide. She
hmm
would only refer to it as a war.
yeah.
She, voted often with the party line
Yeah.
for things that were clearly,
I
things she
I
should have voted against.
I do wonder her quickness to resign. I I think she could have stayed and fought it out and won public support, but she famously did not get on with Keir Starmer. And I
Yeah.
also do wonder whether Keir Starmer's leap to the right has something to do with her being so quick to be like, fuck it, I resign now.
Yeah.
Like
Could it
maybe.
could it have been a setup, an inside job where somebody knew this about her on the party and leaked it?
Oh, maybe, possibly not. Yeah, maybe not from her part, but from
No,
a third party. Yeah,
from somebody
and
in Labour.
I feel very. I feel for her. Yes, of course, like most politicians, there are policies she has or politics that she has that don't align with mine. But I felt for her because she was a very prominent politician, being the deputy prime minister of the UK. And despite that, there had been no, she'd kept a lot of her life private. And because of this, scandal, if you want to call it that, or because of this tax issue, she had to then reveal that she had a son with a disability and that the property in question was one where her son could live full time. And it had had a lot of modifications made to help him with his disabilities, and that her and her ex-husband, because I don't even know how much of her divorce had been made public, her and her ex-husband were using that home to nest so that their son could stay there full time and they could take turns living there with him. And so all of that had
Yeah.
to be disclosed because of this. And so I feel, it's a real invasion of her privacy, and it's a real unfair, holding her to an unfair expectation because she is a working class woman.
Do you think that she will stay on in politics and maybe join Jeremy Corbyn's party or the Greens?
Possibly, possibly,
Do you think she
possibly.
would have enough? I mean, where is she from? Like Ashton upon Lyne, or
Yeah,
is that how you
yeah.
pronounce it? Upon Lyne,
Upon Lynn, wasn't it?
Lynn.
Ashton upon Lynn.
Like, do you think
I
she
don't know.
might
I
have
could be
enough
wrong.
support there to win a vote as an independent or as a part
Yeah,
of another
I
progressive
do.
party?
Yeah, I
I mean,
do.
because that's what Jeremy Corbyn did when he
Yeah,
left or was thrown out of the
I
Labour Party.
I think she's got um a lot of very redeeming qualities to her as a personality. You will often see her out, having a drink, having a G&T. She was photographed at Ibiza over the summer, at a club. She is relatable. She's real. And yes, all right, maybe some of her politics aren't great, but at least she's a refreshing change
I
to
wouldn't, I
Keir
wouldn't,
Starmer.
I wouldn't vote for somebody who wouldn't stand up with all their heart for Palestine. Like, I wouldn't vote for her.
Yeah, but yes, well, I mean, we haven't got time to get into it now, but again, if it came down to that or reform, Nigel Farage as Prime Minister, I probably would. But
Did you see on the news that Morrissey released a statement saying that he had been invited to perform at the Reform Party
the conference
conference
this weekend.
and he declined, but he was honoured to be asked or pleased to be asked?
So there's a perfect opportunity for him to distance himself
Yeah, right?
from all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about him on the podcast, are we, for threat of legal action?
Well, that happened. It's on his website. I mean, I'm not saying anything that didn't. Before
Okay.
we go, can I just give a music recommendation. I sent it to you earlier
Yeah,
today.
I haven't listened to it yet.
So
I've
there's
been
a band
too
called
discombobulated.
Fortitude Valley, and the lead singer and songwriter is based in the UK, but they're from Brisbane, my home city in Australia. And Fortitude Valley is a suburb or a neighbourhood which is known as sort of the entertainment and red light district of the city, and it's a big music hub. And so her band is called Fortitude Valley, and the album is called Part of the Problem, Baby. And it is an indie pop record.
So what? This isn't a Fortitude Valley album. This is a solo. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's the band is called Fortitude Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought. Sorry. Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah. So the band is called Fortitude Valley, and it is such an enjoyable album, and I highly recommend it. And maybe we could put a link to the album in the show notes.
It's such a great name. That I don't know who was naming those in that part of Southeast Queensland. You know, like Fortitude Valley, Deception Bay.
Yeah.
So many great names, but we don't have time. Listen to this. I was going to say, listen to Deception Bay. Listen to Fortitude Valley. And while you're doing that, maybe listen to Josh and the Jumpstarts as well, so I can get 0.002 pence from Spotify.
Do you know how many times an album has to be streamed to count as one album sale?
No, I don't.
1,500.
Great. Well, I've sold one album. Not even. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, let's wrap up. So Josh and the Jumpstarts on Spotify or Apple Music or Deezer, whatever that is. Sean, where can people find
you can find me at
fatgayvegan.com.
You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok, wherever else, at fatgayvegan. And I think that's it. Oh, and somebody wants to say goodbye.
Oh. You have to do the voice.
I don't know the voice.
I don't know what the voice is either, actually.
I don't even know this character's name. I thought it was Dr. Zaius because of that episode of The Simpsons where Troy McClure stars in Planet of the Apes musical. And they're singing, yeah. Dr. Zaius, rock me, Dr. Zaius. You remember that?
Yeah. All right. Well, goodbye from me, from Sean, and Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius. See you.
Okay. Take care, folks.